I heard her words and froze mid-step. My friends think you're not impressive enough for me. I should aim higher. The air in the room thickened, heavy with entitlement. My chest tightened. For a second, I wanted to yell, to beg, to make her see what she'd already lost. But I didn't. I simply said, "Then go ahead." She smirked, satisfied. I watched her walk past me, her heels clicking like judgment. That day I canceled the trips, the ring, the birthday venue, everything, quietly. She never noticed, not then, not yet. It started, as all betrayals do, small. A message left unread on my phone. A whispered laugh when she thought I wasn't looking. The late-night excuses. I told myself it was paranoia. Until the night I found the photo. Her hand in someone else's. The smile she reserved for me, now given to another. I didn't explode. I didn't confront. I studied. I traced patterns, memorized routines, noted weaknesses. Her arrogance blinded her. That arrogance became my weapon. I watched the way she bragged about the trips I'd planned, about the ring I'd purchased, how she flaunted the life she assumed she controlled. 2 weeks later, at 4 a.m., the phone rang. Her closest friend, crying, begging, "Please pick up. Something happened at the birthday party. It's about you." I didn't answer immediately. I let her panic, let her realize her world had shifted, while I stayed calm. Every heartbeat measured, every breath deliberate. I had orchestrated the perfect reversal. The canceled venue? I booked the same hall under a different name. Guests she thought would cheer her loyalty to me received invitations with instructions she would never see. Gifts she expected, returned. Funds she assumed were untouchable, frozen. Subtle, invisible sabotage. Social circles shifted quietly, evidence planted. By the time her friends reached out, she was already unraveling. I remembered our first meeting, years ago, in the hum of a cafe filled with laughter. She had smiled at me like I was the sun. I had believed that light was ours. Every promise etched into my memory now became a measure of her betrayal. I walked into the hall that night, unremarkable, calm. She was radiant, unaware, the centerpiece of attention, her pride inflated. And then the messages, the whispers, the sudden disappearances of favors, friends, and promises began. A friend pulled her aside, the finance detail exposed, the ring returned, the trip mysteriously canceled. Panic flared in her eyes. I watched her like a storm waiting to strike, controlled and silent. What did you do?" she gasped finally, voice trembling, a facade cracking. I let the moment stretch. My calmness was an accusation in itself. "Nothing. You did it," I said. Every syllable precise, every pause a hammer. Her mouth opened, then closed. The laughter, the entitlement, the smug superiority, it was gone. She saw the consequences of her words, her betrayals, laid bare. Her friends, once mirrors of her own vanity, now looked at her differently. Some pitied her, some distanced themselves. She was alone in the crowd. And I stood there, untouched, invisible, yet omnipresent. When the chaos peaked, I left. Quietly, of course. No grand speech, no outburst. The world had shifted. She had fallen into the trap she didn't even know existed. My revenge wasn't spectacle. It was precision, a scalpel where she expected a sledgehammer. I went home. The quiet embraced me, the kind of silence that finally allows breathing without fear, without pretense. Relief was not gloating. Relief was in knowing the scales had balanced, that her actions, measured and cruel, had consequences that could not be denied. I reflected on the woman I loved, the woman I trusted. She was gone, not destroyed, just revealed. And I was free. I was elevated not by victory alone, but by mastery, by the silent strength that comes when intelligence and patience outweigh impulse. Betrayal had been a test, and I passed, not by reacting, but by seeing, not by hating, but by planning, not by yelling, but by moving in the shadows while she danced in the light. I poured myself a drink, listened to the quiet hum of the city outside, and finally allowed a slow exhale. The storm had passed. She had learned in her way what it meant to underestimate me, and I had risen. Her lesson had been delivered, and she would remember it forever.